In thinking about what to name this, as I have to put together a title to go live on YouTube here, I started to name this The Promise That I Will Never Give Up On. So what is the promise I will never give up on? The promise to be born again. The promise to be a new creation. But you see, we've been given a definition. We've been given many words in many books by many scholars and commentators and preachers and leaders. But few have done the works, if any. Few have any. Do you? Millions say they are born again. But do they do the works? Do they feed the 5,000, raise the dead, calm the water? No, they don't. So there's a different story. That's been going around the cosmos. But I put an end to that story. And the story of Orthodox Christianity will not create me. Because I am not a creation of it any longer, where two are one. Or do we understand anything about this? The global picture, global order, or the cosmic one? The cosmic order of truth? The universe. All existence, you see. I've channeled for 21 years, and I've learned things unknowable by any other way. And I published. I've written a book on Jesus the Pattern. You can download a copy of the ebook this day, right here on this recording on YouTube. You can click on shop, I think is the word. And the messages that I've received in the channelings over these years, most of them, well, the first ones I've had online, searchable. But we've had the wrong picture. We've had the wrong picture of God, the wrong picture of love, the wrong picture of humanity, the wrong picture of Satan, the devil, adversarial forces. We've had false information that appeared real. We've asked ourselves many questions, the existential questions. Who am I? Why am I here? Why am I on earth? Why am I on earth? Why am I limited to earth? Why can't I fly like the birds? Or travel at the speed of thought? Or create me differently? Or do we just suppose the stories we've heard about our creation are true? And we limit ourselves to them because we think we are thinkers. We think with thinkers. We think with our mind. Our body, we think we are this. We think we are what we look at in the mirror, but we're not. This is really the false appearing real. And we're coming out. We're coming out of the glorification of the flesh to be silent in it, and it use us, our power. We haven't known who we are or what we are. We haven't known our potential. We haven't understood the cosmic order of perfection, perfect love, unconditional love. We've garnered and gathered and been little thinkers and run here and there to make a living, have a buck, have a moment of peace, think we're doing good. But we are people of the cosmos. We are creators. But see, not everybody thinks with the joy of creation that I think with, because I have been channeled with a new information. And the promise that I won't let go of is the promise to be the real me. Me, not in cloth. Me, not in flesh. Me, a light body, a being of light. Pure consciousness. A spirit? Well, you can call it a spirit if you want to. Tag it to the body of information that most people deem spirituality or religion, religious things. But the pure consciousness of the Creator is the creator of the consciousness that creates it again. And we need not the power of man. You see, the power of man uses us. Before time was, before time existed, before time and space existed, before space-time, before all of this, we were a race of light people who all unconditionally loved each other, who unconditional love was, who bore children of our word. We didn't need men. We were women. Or we were a feminine divine nature of procreation. We had a womb. We had wombs. We had a community. We were in community. We were not limited. The cosmos was ours. We were in unlimited form, infinite, amorphous, incorporeal. We were not limited to this form. We didn't need form. We didn't want form. We could create form, but it wasn't us. But you see, we, the original, speaking of the original, before time began, before there was any thought of not being God, or more accurately, before there was a thought that a God existed of a superpower, a higher power, an authority over us, before any ultimate authority existed in our mind of something else, somewhere else, of another being, before any of that existed, we were women on high, a divine nature. Divine? See, we reach for these spiritual words because the classification, the nomenclature has been used so much in our brainwashing. But there's more to the story. There's more to the story, friends. And the story is that at one time we were all intimidators, not we were all creators. But intimidation set in. Or, let's go back a minute. The original creation of our consciousness, our existence, the existence of us in a state of being. We were one. Unique individuals with the power of the whole, because the whole is in the one, and each one makes up the whole. It may be very abstract to our reasoning and rationale, our logic this day, but it's a quantum concept. Maybe the quantum approaches it. You see, it's not limited by time and space as we know time and space. Our freedom was our power. Our power was us. Our power was in our word because our word did not need syllables. We communicated without syllables. We communicated with intent. We operated with the hive mind, a mastermind. One mind that shielded nothing from anybody else, or did we not need to? Because there was no sin. There was no separation. There was no need to. We were all one of each other. We were one. We were feminine. We reproduced. We were creators. We created the planets, the cosmos. We were the creator, made up of creators, the race of light beings of the one mind, all in love with each other. There was no fabrication of sorrow. There was no fabrication of domination, dominion, taking over another, raping, pillaging, because we were infinite. We were not finite. Death was not among us. Death did not exist. We were a race of light beings. What happened? We fell? Or did we get taken over? And how did we get taken over by something that wasn't us if we were all one? And all existence was us. Because we reproduced. And our offspring, multiple generations of creators who create. create more and more in their own power to create. And over a series of iterations of creations, the creators who created creators created creations to control them and use their energy. Sounds ludicrous, sounds preposterous. But I'm sharing with you a different story of creation and how humanity now is becoming uncreated, back to the original form of us, so that we are no longer stuck in flesh. You see, all this idea of gender, gender did not exist. We were all one. But see, the idea, creators created, there were iterations of peoples, iterations, and at some point, the idea of control was conceived, where one could control another. Always before we were equal, but all of a sudden, with the idea of control, hierarchy was born. The idea of control, command and control. You know, I'm not trying to be eloquent. I'm trying to get this message out. And it's stirring within me. From a deeper place. You may not want to hear this, but this is what born again means to me. Because we're no longer buying the truth of this earth. We're no longer buying into the narratives of creation that we've been given. We no longer look to a God to serve, a God to proclaim his will, a male God, a patriarchal system. We no longer buy those stories. That make us subject to the principalities and powers of earth, the authorities of the heavens. Cain and Abel? Oh. Story of division. Creators created perfectly in unconditional love, as equals. There were no seats of authority, none needed. No one had authority over another. But in the iterations of the offspring, at some point, the offspring began to realize they could control and sought the use of the energy of creation. The mind, not the soul, the consciousness of the Creator. You see, each of us have the consciousness of the Creator, that original race before time began. But we don't think with it. We don't use it. We don't operate with it. We think we're humanity. I'm coming out of mine. I'm coming out of this body. I'm no longer limited to the consciousness of me that has been programmed into me by race, by DNA, by molecular means, because I have other information. I know the better story. I know the original one. And I don't have all the details. And the more I share with you, probably the more questions you can ask. And yet, I'm giving you the big picture. And I'm giving you years of study, years of channeling. Information from another world, another existence. An existence of light, love, and peace. Nirvana, heaven. Whatever term you want to use for it. I've recorded before and I've taught about the difference between God and Lord God. Genesis 1 and Genesis 2 creation. But there have been many creations, many iterations of creation. And there have been many beginnings, many new beginnings. And now there's one to behold. There is a new beginning coming about, and this earth will never be the same. It's cataclysmic. And it's apocalyptic for the controllers. And it's freedom from all of the past for the lovers. Earth was a race of women, a race of angelic beings who operated the way that I've been stating, who operated with one mind, the energy of one, the consciousness of one, complete, with the power to create people, planets, simply the creators, feminine, whether you call it divine or not, pre-God, pre-molecular. But then there was a race that invaded Earth. See, I grew up here. I understand how far out, how ridiculous this may sound to so many people. But the creation narrative is not defined in scope by the timid for the timid. I'm no longer playing around. This is the school of me, my breath. For your breath to be cleansed from you so that you will know the consciousness too of one mind, one holy one, not needing divine terms, not caring, not wanting religious nomenclature, vernacular, parlance. This was a race. This was the planet of the race of the angels, an angelic race, all feminine, all nurturers, all had a womb, all were creators, all created, lived as one. This was a community of earth, not called earth at that time. But control wanted our energy. It wanted to utilize our power to create. And it came and it wooed us, romanced us. And we gave up our power to create, to be our own creation in flesh. We exchanged our power, our glory. We exchanged our glory for power. Power to be resident here, separate, limited to earth. So, whether you consider this a great picture or not, I suggest to you that humanity, every person is male and female. Every person is God and Satan. Every person is the creator and the person who is controlling the creator to be resident in flesh. Every one of us, no matter what you think your gender is or that mine is. I'm talking a different origin narrative for us to see, begin to see, but more than see, begin to experience what born again really means. Becoming a new creation, not limited to flesh, not limited to this earth, not limited to making a living, trying to eke out enough income to cover your expenses, to pay the light bill. I care for the common people, the people who have been used and abused and taught to worship God, taught to support God's house. They've been taught ignorance and dumbed down for eons. And we live in an incarcerated world, in a state of existence of human consumption, consuming itself on its own energy, to exist in sadness, isolation, competitiveness, finiteness. We've been controlled by the story, the stories, the words, the language, the infiltration of our mind, not our computer, but our consciousness, which is vast, unlimited, infinite. But we're coming out. And the stories will no more manipulate us, nor keep us in a state of Denial of our original identity, original power, original light, original creation of all of us being creators. I am denying that your God has power over me if you worship the God of the Bible. You think there's heaven and hell. If you think you're an Orthodox Christian and all of that you've been given and lived is the way of truth, I have news for you. You're going to be disappointed in me not. But what you gave your life to, what you gave your creation to. You never knew the truth. Nobody wanted you to. Everybody wanted to live the lie. But I have a consciousness that is not limited to you, to men, even to women, not limited to flesh, because I am the original me, the feminine divine. Before God was, I am was me. That I am is the I am I am. A1, O-N-E. So this is not something we're thinking up or repeating a prayer to achieve. This is something we are creating, we are recreating. We are, in fact, dividing from what has conquered us to come out. So picture with me as if my flesh suit was like a flight suit, the flight suit of an aviator, a pilot, or a wetsuit. All the covering of the skin, imagine with me, just unzipping it like a suit and stepping out of it. No longer molecular bound, no longer bound by molecules, no longer bound by the thinking of man, of gender, of finite limitedness. I am becoming a new creature. A new creature, a new being. Literally, literally, literally. Feminine divine, and I'm beautiful. I'm perfect. Not in your sight, not in the way humans think. Perfectly reclaimed, redeemed, perfectly re-originated, because the originators were us. Invaded by control, alpha males, the energy of reproduction of the original seed of perfect life. The seed of that is still within us. And it's available to all, whether you're a man or woman. Because the origination of you before time was before. God invaded this planet to make man, to make us subservient, to join that race with ours. For the two become one and then split it in half, split our mind, our brain. This will no more be, folks. because we're no longer holding on to this life that keeps us here on earth. We are becoming light people again who are lovers. Infinite. New creations. Not limited to your food chain, your toxic chemicals, the venom of your religion, the judgment and condemnation of your mind. You are God with. It all goes away, vanishes. It has no appeal. You begin to see what incarcerated you, what limited you to life as we know it. You begin to see a new covenant, a promise. A promise. A promise that came through all of that gobbledygook and all those historical narratives, narratives of history, narratives of the mind, imagination, no matter what you want to call it about your Bible. And yet there's a thread of truth. There's a thread of that which redeems, a thread that makes sense to you, a thread of something that ignites in you the creatorship of you again, if you will let it. And that's called unconditional love. No longer loving the lie, you're no longer worried about death or confusion or ambiguity. You're no longer worried about the words of man and what someone may think about you. Oh, you may worry about it, but it doesn't stop you. If you're beginning to see, if you're willing to begin to see who you are and write the words of faith, not but the face of the original creator before God ever existed. Unconditional love is what I call it. I am. And we're coming back into I am status. Not to be equal with God, but pre-God. The understanding of perfection. A race of infinite creators who operate, who live among the cosmos. Travel by intent, faster than light, because there's no speed limit, there's no cap. There are no molecules that limit us. This is a new creation. This is literal. I will step out of the suit. What will you do with yours? You want to just take it to a grave and hope you make it through the pearly gates? Hope you had the right story that you gave your life to. What story are you giving your life to? The Bible? Why don't you write one? Heresy? Heretical. Damn right. Worse than that. Worse than any heresy you can imagine. Heresy? Blasphemy against God. See, all of that is designed to control. I'm at the point now. You see, there are elements of love throughout all of these stories, enough to keep you magnified in your own mind, thinking that the story may be real, may be right, that God made you a creation and you're appointed once to die and then the judgment. And you can look for a mediator. You can look for a better covenant. But the new covenant, the promise, the original light, the spark, is still there. If you're willing to pay the price to know it, to redeem it, for you to become not the mediator, but the channeler, the receiver, the transmitter, the teacher of a better covenant, of a new creation. So you see, a new race of creation, a new race of creators is being born who create a new beginning. And it will be cataclysmic for some. For many will reject the truth because they want to be right in their own eyes. They've invested their whole life in serving a God. And they just can't imagine being a creator. Can you imagine being a creator? Can you imagine creating you again? By your speech, by your talk, by your teaching, by your love, by learning to live love, by learning to live love unconditional, by learning to channel from another world, another space, another place, another being, another state of existence into your mind, so that you literally pick up your pen where you're really decomposing your life here as you compose the words of true love. Love that is afflictionless. Love that is limitless. You're growing. Your new planet, your new home, your new body. What are you creating this day? Oh God, not another God, I hope. Not another controller. Not another pew sitter. Not another proselyte to make apostles, prophets, teachers, kings, principalities of the earth. But light livers, living the light, quelling war. Devastating commerce. You don't need to work for a living anymore. You create. You get up each morning and begin to speak things into existence. It is not without responsibility. But there's no burden. It's pure privilege. Privilege to no longer be led by flesh. Teaching leadership. Servant leadership, servanthood. How to be a better employee, a better manager. How to get a raise. How to fill out your resume. All of that goes bye-bye. We are trained. We are trained no longer by earth to remain here. You see, this is the school of me, the school of Meonics. It's not the school for cowards, those who are timid, rigid, stiff-necked, believers who want to believe. You come here as a little child, humble. To be taught you are the creator of you. And you can recreate you because you have the consciousness of a combiner no longer with flesh. You no longer wish to combine, stay in flesh, be led by flesh, live a flesh life. Be a new creation, a new consciousness, a creator. Create your new consciousness with unconditional love and realize how we operate. And this is what I teach. And this is why a lot of people may think, I'm a lunatic. But there's a better story, you see. A better story, a better narrative, a better covenant. Pre-God, pre-humanity. No longer trying to redeem humanity, servicing a God energy system of God, molecular. I change it all, and my name is Love in Two Shoes Cottingham. Yes, I'm a man. I'm a woman. I'm a lover. I'm finite. I'm infinite. I'm love. Unconditional love. And I ask you to be unconditional love too. No longer under the law of the molecule. Gravitational waves. No longer subject to the strong force, the weak force. Atomic power. Be the one you really are. The original us, I am. The I am race. The I am of light, love, joy, and peace. Merge now with no other. We are taking our clothes off, not we are taking our flesh off. No longer remaining in flesh, and yet being able to be seen with it, just like Jesus, the pattern. After the crucifixion, the resurrection, seen on the lake shore. Had fish with his friends. But had bread that you know not of. Had words that you haven't been given. Nothing is hidden from the lovers. Nothing is concealed. Nothing is unknowable by you if you want to know it. If you will come into the holy place, the Holy of Holies, and let your word no more dominate you by the consciousness that resides in you about you, that confines you to this finite world. I have said much and given you much to think about, much to ponder, much to interact with, much for you to create with now. The new you. The creator of you is to create you again. Oh God, not needing that name, not needing that power, but the power of light, love, joy, peace, the unrestricted, infinite. So a different frame of reference emerges as I come out with this story. I am religious, not. I am pre-God. Religion no more. Containing us, controlling us. I am one who just bees me. I just want to be me. And I found out that unconditional love would teach me. And I wrote it day by day. And now I'm posting on Substack. And I'm posting some of those original lessons. 1.1.1 you can read. That I penned in April of March and April of 2003, 21 years ago. And now I shed this skin before you in these words. My words come forth. My words contain the seed. My words are the seed. Will you relive the seed of you no more to be separate? Will you create the Creator's joy? Will you create the school of you? And channel you? Who? The real you. The one us that exists before time began and still does. I love you. I go now. I share this with love. I share this with joy. And ask you to consider recreating you as the newborn in light. A glorified body, a resurrected one. No longer hoping for some kind of mass rapture. You do this one by one. Freedom comes at a price. For you to no more be tormented by separation from the seed of original creation before creation created separation. Be the original radiance of your glory, of your natural state. Worshiping no man, no religion, no God. Be the original you. I love you. Infinite be. Kneel at no cross. No burden to bear. No mediator requested. But understanding the light. You are the light of the world. And farther. Let us go now and have fun. Commune, communicate. TheodoreCottingham.com is my website, and I'm changing the old one. I'm no longer keeping that WordPress site, I don't think. Love changes, you see, because true love matures. And unconditional love does not just adapt. Unconditional love creates. See your creation as you and your consciousness as you, the creator of you, recreating the newborn you to increase in unconditional love forevermore, to go about the cosmos and be the one. The chosen one. You're it. I appoint you. I anoint you. I ask you to choose you and not give up on the promise of the new covenant me and be burdened no more with meonics other of. I love you all. Theodore Cottingham. My name is Love in Two Shoes for you. To love love too, forevermore. One day. Good day. Thank you for sharing these words, being in this school, joining, subscribing, writing, loving, forevermore be one. Good day.